Hey guys, it's Navjot Singh Jadeja and welcome to the new topic which we are studying today. So today's topic is two-dimension array. As you can see, in earlier lecture we saw what is an array and also how to declare one-dimensional array and use it. We also saw different reason why we need array and different applications of array. So if you're not referred that lecture, I request you to go back to the earlier lecture. So in today's lecture, we are going to study two-dimension array. So basically, what is a two-dimension array? Two-dimension array is nothing but a matrix kind of a structure. As you can see here, I've given an example. So you have subject marks of three subjects and roll numbers. So basically, you have the rows and the columns, and this is how the structure is. So you have the horizontal and the vertical values in there. So basically two-dimension array is a matrix kind of a structure as I said and used to store multiple values in together. So how do we declare two-dimension array? As we saw in the earlier lectures, as I said, we need certain ways to declare an array which is different compared to the other data types. So we need a type. We have the integer data type in here. Going back to the earlier example, we are storing the integer values. Then we need a name, variable name, which would be an array name. So we are using X in here, and we need a row size and a column size. So common problem while using two-dimension array which I saw during my experience as in the teacher is students get confused between the first and the second values. Always remember in a two-dimension array the first value is the row size and the second value is the column size. It is very easy when the values are same, let's say 3 by 3 matrix or a 4 by 4 matrix, but in a different size of row and column, this can sometimes get little tedious and able to create a program. So you remember this, the first value is the row size, second value is the column size, and this is how it is represented in a figurative way. So 0, 1, 2, 3 in the row, in the columns, and 0, 1, 2 into the rows. So the first value, which is 3, so basically we have 3 rows. As you remember in the last lecture, row starts from the 0th row, not the 1. And accordingly, the columns will also start from 0th. So this is the row which is here, and this is the column which is here. So similarly, we can use different locations to identify which value we want to put it. As I showed you in here, so this highlighted part is nothing but X, which is the 1th row and the 2th column. So similarly, you can store different values into an array and access them also. Also, as we can see here, you can assign a value which is 32 in the 1th row and the 2th column. So it will be stored here. Similarly, if you have some value in the 1th row and the 2th column which you want to add it up and store it into 2th row and the 0th column, then it will be reflected like this. So this is how you'll be accessing values in the rows and the columns. You can have different ways of declaration. Here I have an example of float sales which has the 10 rows, 4 columns. Similarly, a string two-dimension array where I have the 5 rows and the 20 columns. So how do I initialize a two-dimensional array? So there are two stages. Again, just like one-dimension array, there is compile time declaration and there is runtime declaration. I would request all of you to pause this video and try it by yourself. The hint which I would like to give you here is the change from one dimension to two dimension is you will require multiple loops. Alright guys, as you can see, as I discussed, you for declaring compile time, you do not require loop. So you can declare list of values in the similar way as in the one dimension array. In that, let's say this is the example of a table which has 2 rows and the 3 columns that makes out to be 6 values. So these values will be arranged in this manner. And always remember, try to get the rows first so you will know how many columns will be remaining. And then this is how the values are arranged. Similarly, you can write it this way also. So you will understand in the compile time itself that how the values are stored in the two-dimensional array. The next thing is we'll be seeing the runtime initialization. As I gave you the hint before the pause of the video, you will require a to loop. So you can either store the values individually like this, but in the earlier lectures we have seen which is not a good optimized idea and not a feasible idea if the values are very large. So what you can do is you can store different values using a loop. So here I have given an example. So I have a matrix of 3 by 3. I got two looping variables I and j, and I've got two loops. One managing the rows, second managing the columns. So this is what I would want you to pause it here again. Come up with the rest of the part of the program. Try it in the compiler which you are using, maybe the online compiler or the Turbo C or code blocks, whatever you're using. Pause the program here. This is for scanning the values in the matrix. You can try similar statement for printing the values. Only change here is instead of the scanf, you will require printf and minor change in the syntax. If you can manage it, it would be great. Okay, you guys are back. So if I hope you have been able to code the rest of the part, which is like this. Only change which I expect here is the printf and the /n in the printing part so that we see a matrix rather than a continuous set of values. So I think hope most of you would have got this right. So this is a simple program to store values runtime in the two-dimensional array and print those values using two loops. So as you can see in the one-dimensional array, we required one loop. Similarly, here you will require two loops, one for the columns, one for the row. And similarly, in the two-dimensional array, you can use another four loops to print the values. I hope that is it, helpful way of learning. Also, similarly, you can go with the multi-dimensional array. Only change here applies is instead of the 1 2 dimensions, which is row and the column, you would have multiple dimensions. So this is also used in similar programs as in the patterns. So in the further videos we'll be seeing how to generate patterns using multi-dimension array or two-dimension array. So that is what you can also try in the practice sessions. If you come across any doubts, please make sure you come back and ask in the comment section. So similarly, you can use the same syntax with multiple size and rows and create a multi-dimension array. So most of the compilers permit 7 to 10 dimensions. I am not sure what compiler you are using, so please refer their documentation to find out what is the final allowed limit there. So similarly, you can create a dynamic array also, wherein you are not giving the size of the the columns, because in the static allocation the memory is stored by default, whereas in the dynamic arrays that thing will be given as in regular allocation based on the requirement. And for that we have different commands in C, which we'll also be seeing in the further chapter of memory management. But just a quick introduction, this is malloc, which is malloc, memory allocation. Then similarly realloc for reallocation of the memory, and similarly calloc. These are having different purposes in terms of memory allocation. So these are the commands which you can use for live dynamic memory allocation in arrays, which can be a great functionality when you are saving or optimizing the memory. So I hope you understand how to come up with the two-dimensional and multi-dimensional arrays. Please try those programs in your code editors. If you find out any doubts, please revert back to us. Also, if you feel anything that we need to add in our content, please comment in the comment section. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day, and please subscribe the channel for more and more videos. Please like the video if you appreciate our efforts. Thank you so much. Have a great day.